Hello and welcome into Best Ball Breakfast with Bruni after dark. We're going with a late night evening episode here. Our internet was out this morning, so we're shifting to a late night episode going after dark. Lights are out, ready to jump into the best ball streets. We are still back talking ADP and doing a live Best Ball Mania 5 draft. Last week, we did the best of the month and worst of the month for risers and fallers in Best Ball Mania 5. This week, we're just going back to the last 7-day review, and we do have some interesting names on the docket. We are going to get through them relatively quickly here because we are going to jump into a live draft. Let's jump into the menu. Let's see what's a la carte, ADP a la carte this evening. Risers, we've got Nick Chubb. One video of him lifting weights, it's over. Dontavian Wicks, Ricky Pearsall, Christian Watson, Rashee Rice, Ty Conklin, Noah Fant, Deebo Samuel, JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and Sir William Levis. All right, our top 5 guys we're going to review here. We're leading off with Dontavian Wicks, player I've been buying all best ball summer long thus far. The cost is starting to creep closer to, the Romeo Dubes, Jaden Reed, Christian Watson area, that territory. He's getting up there, and it sounds like with all the camp hype, he's going to continue to climb. He is the guy that I've liked the most, but that's also been based on his value, just based on how well the Packers distribute their targets. I mean, maybe not well for fantasy, but very good, football product, for, NFL terms. Like, hey, that's interesting. They spread the ball out a lot. Not so great for our fantasy teams or our best ball teams. So I was consistently targeting the value there, buying very little shares of, Reed and Dubes. Not a Christian Watson buyer. You will see here his cost has gone up 4 spots, as well as Dontavian Wicks 6.5 spots as well. I'll buy a bump up in Wicks, although again, I feel like it's going to get a little out of control here as we get closer to the start of camp, start of the season. His value will continue to skyrocket. So if you have drafted a lot of them, then maybe it's time to slow down a little bit. If you haven't drafted a lot of Dontavian Wicks, it might just be an adjusted cost that you're going to have to pay for, as many will do with Best Ball Mania 5. There's a lot of folks like me that are doing, all off season, all best ball summer long. We're getting in high volume drafts. I'm at number 90 already. Tonight will be 91. And most will say, hey, don't do that. I prefer it because I get value like this. When I can hit on guys, I really, really hit on them. Even when they get an adjusted cost, yeah, I'm still paying a little bit, but my exposure or continued exposure for that player is obviously declined at the increased cost, which I still prefer. 25% advance rate, write it down. Nick Chubb, he was the highest one, but we kind of went off keel there with leading off with Wicks. He is up 10 spots. One video, all the faith in the world. Before this video, it was, I'm not sure when I'm going to come back. I have no idea. Before that, it was, I'm running on land. So running on land, I don't know when I'm going to come back. I can lift weights. Obviously, still a lot of certainty up in the air. I still want to target him as a 5th or a 6th running back if possible. I don't want to get sneaky and try to get a little too paper thin at running back with him as my 3rd receiver or even as my 4th. I mean, you might find another piece that can hit after him as your 4th running back, but the odds are less and less favorable for you. So if you can get him as your 5th, get him as your 6th running back, I think the ADP is still a very good situation. You've seen that steady decline since the start of the competition. And, this uptick here, again, might be in a more appropriate adjusted cost, but there's lots of us that are going to have him as that 5th or 6th guy. So I don't want to get, overly creative trying to force him as my 3rd or 4th, like I said. Next up, we've got Tyler Conklin. He is a riser that I will continue to buy. He was actually one of my most exposed tight ends last year, and I've barely touched him this year. Not much has changed. His stats, stay very consistent from year to year. They're not too high. They're not too low. But what's there to expect with Aaron Rodgers? You would hope an improvement off of last season, which was the same factor or narrative that I was buying a year prior from now. Drafted a lot of him, but also drafted a lot of him with Trey McBride. That was kind of a saving grace. So I have much less shares of him. We'll pull that up in the draft. I'm not sure what my exposure is, but I do know it's pretty low. And I'm comfortable buying more of him. It's just that there have been other picks in that range that I have liked more and been tapping more consistently. Will Levis definitely had his ups and downs here. You see a big spike there in the middle of this chart. but still been a steady climber, really. And we're getting closer to the start of the NFL season. You're going to see late round quarterbacks get a little bit more love or a little bit uptick because people are drafting running backs and receivers more aggressively, meaning that when someone is looking at the board and they're just absolutely sick with what's left over at running back or receiver, they're pulling up one of these plays in quarterback like a Will Levis, like a Derek Carr, like even a Kirk Cousins, because they're really good. They're at really good value already. So what's the bother or the hurt of bringing them 8, 10, 12 picks ahead of ADP? There really isn't, because they're going to be a top scorer on your team most likely. So you're going to see a continual rise out of those guys. Again, a bit of a benefit of early drafting, getting really good value on a guy like a Will Levis, even Russ Wilson, who's been hanging around a lot in the late rounds, or a Kirk Cousins as well, who's has a pretty equitable cost, who's going to be on an offense we expect a lot out of. Ricky Pearsall, he's hurt. He's hurt and he's climbing. Starting on the PUP list, absolute fade at this ADP. I'm starting to see people pick up on some Jacob Cowing. I'm good. I just don't think Ayuk's going to get moved, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll pay the price for that. But I don't know. I'm just not really concerned about overdrafting Pearsall or Jacob Cowing. I think it's an interesting idea. Oh, hey, Brandon Ayuk is traded. There's some options here for someone to step up, earn some high-value targets. I don't know. Maybe I just see more CMC, more Deebo Samuel running the ball, more George Kittle. They just put him on a whole Netflix documentary. Maybe him and Deebo just, completely live off that hype and just skyrocket. I think these guys are fine if you want to get them mixed into some lineups, but more than 5%, I don't think so. I don't think they're going to be that of that high value to where I feel I need to overdraft them. So again, a quick review: we have Chubb, Wicks, Pearsall, Watson, Rice, Conklin, Fant, Samuel, Njigba, and Levis. Still buying Will Levis, still buying Njigba. These costs really aren't that adjusted, we'll say. Deebo only up 3 spots. Noah Fant getting more expensive. I guess that makes sense. We've talked about him in weeks past. He's been a climber across best ball summer through the, off season. Ty Conklin, yes. Rashee Rice, he just keeps going up and up and up and up and up. We haven't heard any news. Maybe I'm going to have to spend more than I want on him, but I'm going to have, no matter what, more Xavier Worthy and more Hollywood Brown. Maybe I miss out on that. Travis Kelce as well. Can't forget about him. I'm going to have a lot more of those guys already. And Travis Kelce's presence and the emergence of Brown and Xavier Worthy is enough of a shakeup for me to believe that, hey, there's going to be enough of a split where I'm not completely losing out on this, or on Rice's, forsaken value that I forsaked in weeks past, months past. Not buying Christian Watson can't make me do it, can't pay me to do it. He was on the winning team last year, best Ball Mania 4, tip of the cap. But it did nothing for you. He did nothing. All right, fallers: Jordan Addison, Ben Sinnott, Mike Williams, Roman Wilson, Derek Carr, Aaron Rodgers, Javon Baker, Brandon Ayuk, Xavier Legette, and J.J. McCarthy. Look at Derek Carr falling when I'm over here saying he should be rising. Jordan Addison, huge dive. Look at that chart. Look at that absolute plummet of ADP. Seems fair, right? I mean, doesn't seem like that offense is projected to do a ton outside of Justin Jefferson and the running backs. Have to believe this is going to be a run-heavy offense trying to protect whatever quarterback is under center. Sam Darnold's not a guy you want throwing the ball 35-plus times. Is J.J. McCarthy? I don't know. I know that he's probably not that guy, at least the first half of the season. That's for sure. So a lot of focus in this offense going towards Jones, Chandler, obviously Justin Jefferson, T.J. Hawkinson getting a nice bump, that he could be back maybe sooner than expected. But I think this is a fine dive for Jordan Addison, and dare I say I might be interested. I haven't bought a lot of Jordan Addison, if any. I don't know if I have a single share. A couple more weeks like this, and I think I'm in. I think I might buy this adjusted cost a little bit more just to get a little bit more unique and get a player that I haven't been drafting. Derek Carr, this has a slow, steady decline. I will continue to buy the dip. Just starting quarterback, a guy that I'm getting as my second or my third QB rostered, someone that I'm not afraid to pair with an elite QB, like a Jalen Hurts, like a Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, etc. I don't know the buys to those teams if they're conflicting with Carr, but regardless, he's someone that I'm willing to buy at a very, very low cost. Bought a lot of them last year. Didn't make the finals, but again, 25% advance rate, someone that I feel I can lean on in the late rounds if I really faded the position. I mean, honestly, I don't even mind doing Derek Carr, Will Levis, Bryce Young. Like if you completely, surge up your other positions at running back, receiver, and tight end, I'm completely okay with that. Just make sure that, again, you're well stocked at those other positions because, yeah, you do stand to be exposed at quarterback, but it could be, good enough to get you into the playoffs. And if those guys can have some sneaky finishes to the end of the year, you might find yourself a very wealthy person. Quarterback, just a very disregarded position overall. There's lots of value in the late rounds. Derek Carr is one of those guys I continue to buy the dip. Mike Williams, not so much. Dip, 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 dip. Very brief price hikes, but the cost has continued to go down and down and down. He starts on the pup list. I am not buying any of this. No, thank you. I did buy a few shares early on out of excitement and just being like, a Mike Williams dude. I love what he can, put down on paper, mostly on the field when he's healthy. But, love the stats that he put up when he's good to go. Hasn't been that, isn't that right now, should be of a concern to us. That doesn't mean I'm running to get Alan Lazard or Malachi Corley. I don't know. I mean, is this team oddly still, going to be in running for a wide receiver, either free agent or trade? I mean, Aaron Rodgers, I know he's doing ayahuasca on the weekends, but talking about Devontae Adams coming to town, I mean, maybe he's not right on that, but does that mean they're maybe making swings, in the front office? They're doing their due diligence. I do feel like they are pretty weak behind Garrett Wilson, but makes me more inclined to draft a ton of Garrett Wilson. Xavier Legette continues to go down, minus 3 spots in the last week. Living off of just that recency bias from the NFL draft, I feel like not really getting that long-term appreciation since then. Adam Thielen's still there. I think people realize he's still going to play a ton of snaps, even with the emergence of Deontay Johnson on the roster. Really tough get for anybody, for targets behind those two who are really just going to vacuum up everything that's thrown their way. They're going to have a high catch percentage. They're going to get a lot of targets. It's just hard for me to believe that Legette or Jonathan Mingo can play or have a serious role in this offense. So for me, I have not bought very much Legette, and I am going to continue to fade. Aaron Rodgers, again, very, very odd here. I mean, you see that spike there for him. Maybe he's getting a dip from, just being away from camp or not, being with the boys in the offseason as much as he should. I don't know what it is, but I feel like, again, Carr and Rodgers stock should be rising. So value QB, getting dips, cool. Give me more. I'll take more. I do love tapping Josh Allen in the 40s, but I love nothing more than drafting some late round value QBs. Late round QB and late round tight end served me very well last year, and I'm going to continue to go back to that well. Aaron Rodgers fits that mold. Other fallers, we have J.J. McCarthy. If I'm stacked up, if I'm Minnesota thick, if I'm throwing up the sales and I'm just all Vikings, then sure. Yeah, I mean, I'll take a last round shot on J.J. McCarthy as my third QB. I have no issue with that. The fact that he's getting less expensive than the last round just means that he's going undrafted, meaning if you do draft him, you can get a little bit more of a unique lineup just because his draft percentage, in theory, should be lower. Brandon Ayuk, down 3 points. Yeah, buy the dip. I don't care where he is. Buy the talent, buy the player. Love Brandon Ayuk. If someone's going to go out and pay for him to get him off of the 49ers, they're going to pay a lot, meaning that they're going to make him a priority and he'll be used a ton. If he stays, he's still going to be used a ton in a great offense, top scoring offense in the NFL. Very good situation no matter what happens with him. Javon Baker falling 3 spots as well. Just not into buying Patriots receivers. Sure, I've done it. I'm not doing it a lot. So mix them in, bunch them up. There's so many of them. If you want one, I don't recommend planting a flag firmly because that flag is going to get knocked down very quickly. There's just so many mouths to feed there, so many opportunities, and there's no reason for any coordinator or coach for the Patriots to just keep running the same guys out there with the depth that they have and how bad they are going to be this year. Derek Carr, again, buying the dip. Roman Wilson, we've talked about it week after week after week. We are continuing to buy the dip on Roman Wilson. Ben Sinnott, again, I think that he and Zach Ertz, their ADP at some point is going to bump. I think Zach Ertz is going to get up to around 16, 17 at some point, and you're going to see Ben Sinnott right there with him. So they are just edging each other closer and closer in ADP, and I think that's what's going to happen. Draft either with extreme caution. I'm not drafting a ton of either. That wraps it up here. So let's get to the old underdog draft. I'm going to pull it up on my phone first, and we will get going here. If you are in the chat and you would like to join in, now's your time. I'm going to take a peek here. Lobby. Get a little countdown, a little 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 11 more to start. There you go. There it is. Fill it up, ladies and gentlemen. Fill it up. Appreciate if you could smash the like button, share the video, follow the channel, Fantasy Six Pack Network. We've got all sorts of good stuff for you. They've got IDP, that obviously best ball. We're here. I know they're doing team and player previews, so check out all the good stuff. Been doing this a while. Got a lot of good content spread around. Baseball still in full swing. Got a lot of good baseball content going. Fire it up. And tell them I sent you. That always helps. Let's go to the draft and get it pulled up here. 9 more to start. We can go ahead and pull this off the screen and get up the board. I don't think I updated my exposure here. While we wait, we can kind of look at some of the top players. Tons of Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think that's at 16%. I did draft him last night. This is only one draft short. So 15% Jefferson, or I'm sorry, 15% Brown, 7% Jefferson, 12% Chase, 10% Tyreek, 6 and 7% for the top players in McCaffrey and Lamb. So as you see, not very many 1-2 picks. A lot of 3 through 6, a lot of 3 through 7. All right, just a couple more to go here. 3 players to start. I didn't have that pulled up, and I'm monologuing about it. I love that. In the 4 spot, super normal. Let's see. This Huckleberry person seems familiar, although the name looks adjusted, I feel like. And that's it. I don't know. None of y'all. Razzle Dazzle sounds familiar. Sounds familiar. If not, good name. Order Taker. I mean, he's kind of like rocking old school Undertaker colors. I like that. Dancing Dolphin. That's a dope name. Dancing Dolphin. I dig it. Rocking a badge, rocking a headband. Okay. Feel you. Yeah. I got nothing else. All you others have too basic of names. My apologies. 3 picks away. Let's ride. Let's go. All right. McCaffrey. Lamb. Hill. Do it. Do it, slaves. Tyreek Hill. Let's take Bijan, just because I call these people slaves. I haven't taken Bijan top 5 yet. But, taking a lot of these folks here, like I mentioned. Only 9% Bijan. So really just rounding it out. Like, what did I say? 10% Hill. Chase, I've got 8%. So very similar to Bijan. Justin Jefferson, 7. And honestly, I'd rather have Bijan over Justin Jefferson. Much better situation this year. One of their quarterbacks is Kirk Cousins. Not a big Kirk Cousins guy, but I mean, consider the opposite situation. Consider what the Vikings are working with. Huckleberry taking Chase at 5. Thankful. Whoever's getting, St. Brown at 7. Also, you're welcome. Breece Hall at 9 is also a little bit of a gift. Oh, Breece Hall going at pick 10. That is a gift. You're welcome. I started this. I did this. Let's see. Does Blink Wecky Push Breece Hall to the turn. I can't imagine. Garrett Wilson. Wow. The Breece Hall disrespect. The disrespect. There he goes. Breece Hall at pick 11. You gotta like that. You gotta like that pick 11. Let's see if this Beamer 5 takes Jahmyr Gibbs over Jonathan Taylor and Saquon Barkley. It sounds like, even when I say it, it sounds so difficult to do, but I see it every single day. I see it in every single draft. Jahmyr Gibbs, easy tap over Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley. I don't get it. I don't get it. I just don't see him. Holy Deebo Samuel going at 112. My goodness, we are after dark. We are getting it. Holy mercy. He went Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, leading off the turn, the 1-2 turn with a San Francisco stack. No more ADP slaves. They gone. They gone. This is what you can do by changing up the script. You can absolutely mess with the draft. By taking Bijan at 4, I absolutely broke their brains. I know this because my brain was broken when I saw him go first overall. So imagine what it did to these people. These poor badgeless souls. There goes Jahmyr Gibbs over Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley. I don't get it. I don't get it. Jonathan Taylor right after. Jahmyr Gibbs, I have very little of. None. I have none. I have 0 Jahmyr Gibbs. I would like to get some. I would. But he needs to go in round 2. I'm sorry. He does. He needs to go in round 2. Am I going to get Saquon Barkley? Are they going to let Saquon fall to 21? I've got, what is it? Oh, my goodness, they did. Or I could take more Devontae Adams. I have so much Devontae Adams, though. It's ridiculous. I have 24% Devontae Adams, 16% Barkley. What to do here? I'm going to take some more Barkley. Barkley, Bijan. I love that. I love that. I don't like leading off running back, but I assure you, I won't be taking one for a long time. Probably going to go really wide receiver, tight end heavy here. And like we were talking about, doing some lead off, or as we let off the show, with late round tight end. This guy wrote period. Period. Was that at the end of a sentence, or did you do that on accident? Disbanded Brotherhood. Period. Devontae Adams after Saquon. Have very little Devon Achane. Have 1% Waddle as well. Obviously, been clicking a lot of Devontae Adams and Saquon Barkley in this range. Also love Mike Evans. A little bit more Devonta Smith and DK Metcalf. But again, a lot of that attention going to Adams and Barkley in this range. Also a lot of Cooper Kupp, 18%. Again, Devonta Smith, Metcalf, Neighbors, just kind of mixing it up, like 5 and 6% for each of them. I expect those numbers to climb for those guys, though. Kyron Williams, only 1%. Would like to get a little bit more of him, but I got 15% Derrick Henry. Again, very difficult for me to say I'm going to take Kyron over Derrick Henry. Gosh, should I do 3 running backs? I'm just kidding. Oh, it's my thing. Right on. Right on. It's always good to have a thing, man. I do it for the algorithm. You the man. You the man, brother. I'll take more DK here if I can get him. I think that's a good pick for me. Disbanded Brotherhood. Sounds like an unsullied group of knights on Game of Thrones, no? Just, kind of strolling through the Riverlands, doing their own thing. You know what I mean? Some Knights Without Banners kind of feel, kind of vibe. You know what I mean? You get it. Bijan, Barkley, Metcalf. Didn't mean to get athletic freaks, but I have them. They're here. Let's take a look at who's available. Cooper Kupp, like I said, a lot of him. DJ Moore, 11%. Took some more of him last night, so he's probably at 12. Stephon Diggs, 10%. An appropriately priced Texans receiver, I feel like. Going and end of round 3, start of round 4. Collins, don't hate paying the price, but does feel expensive. Tank Dell, right here, 0 goose egg percent Tank Dell. Not paying for Tank Dell at this same ADP as guys that I just mentioned. Moore, Diggs, plays on the same team as him. Michael Pittman, 18%. Love him. Zay Flowers, I need more of, but I actually like him more than Tank Dell at this ADP, 3%. Laporta, 8%. Allen, 6%. I drafted him again last night, so that's, again, probably 7%. Again, Pickens, Kelsey, Cooper. These are names after Tank Dell. Pickens, Cooper, Pacheco, Hurts, Higgins, Travis Etienne, Christian Kirk, Lamar Jackson, Trey McBride, Patrick Mahomes, Terry McLaurin, yeah, Mark Andrews, Dalton Kincaid, yeah, right here. 53. I found it. That's where Tank Dell should go, right next to Hollywood Brown. That's where he should go. You're welcome. You found out. If you can get Tank Dell closer to pick 53, you should do it. If you get him or target him at pick 35, you should forget about it. You should not do that. And there he goes, right on time, pick 35. This team has Breece Hall, Marvin Harrison, Tank Dell. Listen, you go hero RB here and you don't touch running back for a while and you really load up on receiver, that's the way you make up for it. That's the way that you build a roster with Tank Dell. You have to protect him. You have to protect him. You know, you have to just build a whole castle around right around the middle of him or outside of him, whatever. Put him in the middle. I don't know. Sam Laporta goes. And there's like so many players I like at this range, and that's really why it's spread out. I mean, Laporta, Diggs, Pittman, Kelsey, Moore, Cooper Kupp, Mike Evans. Like I said, Henry, Neighbors. I mean, those guys are great. Josh Allen's still available. He's probably going to hit the 40s. He doesn't. He goes right there at 38. I got him last night at 43. Feeling really good about it. I definitely would have taken him at 45 again. That's a fact. That's a fact. Easy pick at 45. Josh Allen. Maybe Jalen Hurts falls to me, you know. Don't really have many stacking opportunities other than Saquon, so I could do that. Just don't love stacking the running back with the QB this early. Feels troublish. Pacheco went after Josh Allen. Clocks are slow tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Clocks are slow. I'm not sure if I want elite QB here, but I tell you what, I can get one. We're in a really good range here. It looks like Zay Flowers is falling. They say a few good things about Rashad Bateman, and people just forget that Zay Flowers exists. Crazy. I mean, he's a gadget player. He's not a guy that's going to get you 15 targets a game, but neither is Rashad Bateman or Devontae Walker. I love tapping draft on Devontae Walker. That's a fact. There goes Zay Flowers. Good little value after ADP. Let's see. I might have to take Lamar here. It's either Lamar and Andrews if I can pull off. I don't know if I can. I don't think I can pull off Lamar and Andrews. And I was thinking about taking McBride in there. He goes 2 picks ahead of me. I might just tap receiver here and dig into that position. Because, again, I have Bijan, I have Barkley, I have Metcalf, and I like Kirk, I like Higgins, but they both have Week 12 buys. A little conflicting early, first 4 players, but we can trudge through it. No issues. It just makes me always wonder, and there goes Mark Andrews, well ahead of him. I can't let him do it. I don't think Lamar Jackson will fall that far. But I shouldn't let him do it. Decisions. Let's get more T. Higgins. We've been talking about it. We've been saying we're going to get more T. Let's get some more T. In line for a big workload increase this year. Tyler Boyd's gone. I think they got rid of their starting tight end. They're bringing in Mike Gesicki. Got Tanner Hudson there. Higgins going to be playing for some money this year, playing for a contract for next year, whether it's with Bengals or abroad. Joey B's walking in looking like Eminem. Like, feels right. Maybe we get Joey B, an old JB connection. Tell you what, Joe Burrow wins me Best Ball Mania 5, $1.5 million. Haircut match. Easy. Like, I'm Joe Burrow. Yes, I'm the Joe Burrow. No, I'm complete stan. We'll go full on. Easily. think we'll be able to do that stack. I mean, we've got a good while between him and that's pick 91. We're at pick 52. So even if I bring Burrow up the board, should be pretty doable. And I can still get another good receiver here and pass on QB. So who is that? Who is that guy? Is it Christian Kirk? Maybe. Has another week 12 bye. It's not great. He just went off the board. Dancing Dolphin making easy decisions for me. Man. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. One of them is going to fall to me. Goodness gracious. 47 at pick 52. I guess I just take Lamar here. I mean, that's a huge fall for Lamar. Screw it. We'll target Bateman. Maybe we'll even grab Burrow too. We'll just go double elite QB. Screw it. Screw it. That's a big fall. That's a big fall. We don't have those. No. Whew. 6 spots after ADP. I wonder how far Mahomes falls. Jackson Burrow would be nice. That would be pretty nice. But we'll be even more thin at receiver, I feel. So we got to tread lightly. Tread lightly. Calvin Ridley goes. Have a ton of Calvin Ridley. That's a nice build. Ridley, Flowers, Moore, Olave, St. Brown. Just going all in on receiver. I don't think it's necessary to continue down that path. I mean, if you want to go past that, you can. But I mean, there's so many people that have done stuff like that. Like I just don't think it's really that unique. You know, there's been plenty of people I've seen start off 6 straight, 7 straight receivers. You're going to see a lot of those similar combinations. And when you're having to leverage late round running back, the same guys that you're targeting back there, because you're like, oh, I have to, it's time to load up. It's time to do our part. They're typically also late round running backs that a lot of us really like that are pairing with other elite players, other elite running backs. More balanced rosters. We're up at 9 picks. Let's see. A lot of Chris Godwin I've taken. Joe Mixon, didn't like seeing the news on him. Got 10% Joe Mixon. There's 0% Rashee Rice, as I mentioned. 7% Xavier Worthy. Maybe I can get Rice up to like 5% at this click. I don't think that's bad. I don't think it's terrible. But I'll tell you what, I'd like to have it on one of those teams that are going 5 or 6 receivers straight. That's for sure. No dissimilar to Tank Dell with his uncertainty. I want to protect him with a sleuth of value receivers. Let's see, up in 6 picks. Mixon, like I said, 10% no Rice, 7% White. Meh. Only 1% Roma Dunze. I feel like he's fallen. Maybe I need to price check Roma Dunze because I feel like his price has fallen. And I was getting him when he would fall early on because he's drafted by the Bears. Obviously, it's crowded, so people are just like, "Oh, that ADP is not right." But I feel like it's kind of settled in. I need to do a price check on him month to month and see if it's okay. I have a lot of Keenan Allen and DJ Moore, so I feel like that's enough. But Dunze obviously could have a ton of value if you saw an injury, just because the team's still not great. They're going to have to pass the ball a lot. The offense isn't just going to magically, take them into the playoffs. The team still has a lot of holes they need to fill. We're 1-2-2 here, so we probably should be looking at receiver. Thinking Ladd McConkey, Deontay here. Don't have a lot of Ladd McConkey, so I will take a stab. Just 2% Ladd, 19% Johnson. So just the clear shift there. I don't have any Brian Thomas, and I think that's just because of Deontay Johnson and some of these other players. A lot of Evan Ingram at this ADP, 15%. I start a lot of builds with my first running back is Kenneth Walker, so that 13% is absolutely an accurate representation. I will definitely. Oh, and we lose Brian Thomas. I was going to say I will definitely grab Brian Thomas here if he falls. No other short shares other than maybe JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba. I could buy into that, but I've already taken DK, so I don't think that's the move here with just 3 receivers drafted thus far. So if there's a Deontay fall, I will absolutely buy him. Deontay Johnson should be priced closer to round 5, late round 5, early round 6, rather than late round 6, round 7. So I will absolutely take him here, and my team could absolutely use some more targets with only Metcalf, Higgins, and McConkey. So I will gladly enlist the services of DJ here if I can get him. Evan Ingram goes. That would have been my backup pick. Where's Joe Burrow? Is he hiding? No, we don't need to take him with this pick. He might fall. He might. Probably won't. But he's a ways down the board here. Don't need to pull him up. I will consider it. I'm not an elite QB snob. Double elite QB snob. Just means we're going poor man's tight end. That's what that means. Means Mike Gesicki's going to be on this roster. One pick away. Again, Deontay Johnson, easy pick here. 4 picks after ADP. He's someone that I will take 10 picks ahead of ADP. Easy tap there. So we're looking at Bijan, Barkley, Metcalf, Higgins, McConkey, Deontay Johnson. Drafted a lot of Josh Palmer, so that's a big reason why that 2% there is for Lad McConkey. Why draft Lad when I prefer Josh Palmer? But again, when you're going all in, you're going 150, got to diversify, got to spread it out, got to get everybody's levels up here. 15 picks away. I'll tell you what, Jordan Addison's still there. I'll take him. I don't think he will. He's at pick 79, and we were saying he's falling roughly like 10 spots. That puts us at pick 89. Is that going to do it? I don't think so. We're at pick 93. So that would be a pretty big fall for him. I would expect him to go, again, especially with how thirsty drafters have been for receiver and running back at this time. Interesting. All right. Let's see here. Let's see who just went. After Johnson, we had Stevenson, Coleman, Kamara, White, all good taps. Like those players a lot. Stevenson going to have a reliable role. Coleman, same thing. Like that's someone that you can just attack the draft capital and the potential with all the vacated targets from Stephon Diggs. Alvin Kamara, still an easy bump for me in the 7th round. Zamir White, same thing. I'd be willing to take Zamir White in round 6. Same thing with Aaron Jones. And again, this is why I like starting off, like I mentioned, like leading off with a guy like Ken Walker, Kamara, Stevenson, White, Jones. I'm okay with starting running back in this range, and so are many others. Obviously, I highlighted a team that had gone 5 straight receivers. It's because of value like this that you're seeing in round 7, 8, 9, and we'll continue to point that out as we go along here. After Aaron Jones, we had Jackson Smith and Jigba, Jamison Williams. Feels early for JMO. No, not really, just 3 picks, so a slight tilt for him. Jordan Addison, only receiver on the board here through like the next receiver is at ADP 95. That's where I'm going in 8 picks. So it feels like it's going to be tough for Addison to fall here, but also a lot of these teams have gone receiver heavy. So 4 drafted by round 8 for 1, 2, 3, 4 of the next 5 teams. So pretty well established. Maybe we see some of these guys dip into, the Ferguson, Murray, some of these running backs. I mean, Swift is a great pick here. Brooks is an okay pick. I'm more of a Chuba Hubbard guy, but better news has been coming for Jonathan Brooks, it seems like. I like Joe Burrow here for myself, or Jordan Addison for myself. Jake Ferguson, if he can fall, I think that would be a good pick. If I'm just going receiver just because I need to, I'm a little weaker, I could go Cortland Sutton, but I've taken 11% Cortland Sutton. Feels like a bit much. 22% Josh Palmer. Now that's a bit much. 8% Lockett. Don't need a double stack there with Metcalf. Maybe Rashid Shaheed. I don't know. Addison did go, let's see, 7 picks after ADP. I'm up in 5. So is not Joe Burrow. DeAndre Swift is up in 5. But Joe Burrow is up in 4, so we stand a chance if we want to maybe bump him in there. Super interesting. Up in 4, Burrow's up in 3. I feel like Ferguson's probably a better pick for me just because of the tight end checkpoint that he offers. Bowers and Njoku and Ferguson, that's kind of it. Like you want somebody at those guys or ahead. In my opinion, I mean, I've drafted plenty of these guys, 9% Schultz, 5, 6 Goddard, 14 in Njoku, obviously big checkpoint exposure there. 5% Muth, 13% Komet. I feel like Komet kind of fits that mold up here as well. So maybe he's kind of, the checkpoint beyond the checkpoint, if you will. TJ Hawkinson, 6%. Just taking my chances, hoping I can get him back for the last 8 games of the season. Luke Musgrave, kind of similar to Cole Komet, but not sure what to expect out of Luke Musgrave. He's got to stay healthy all year, and the target distribution is just really, really tough to predict with the Packers. I am going to go double elite QB. We're going Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. We'll be getting late round Jackson stacks with maybe Bateman and Walker, but Burrow we do have tied up with T. Higgins. No correlation there between them other than they play each other in the division. So, hopefully we can get some shootouts between the Bengals and the Ravens this year, and that'll push us on a couple of spike weeks. We are 2-2-4 going into round 9. After Burrow went Jonathan Brooks. Only have 1% of him. I was staying away for most of the offseason just because of the return from, an ACL injury. That's obviously very concerning, and I feel like I don't get every bit of him all year long. Great, obviously, pick for like Dynasty, but I think in redraft and best ball, he's going to have some roster woes, knowing when to start him, not to start him in redraft. Obviously he's an okay pick in round 8, but that feels expensive for a rookie with no NFL experience that's going to come in off of an ACL injury within a year. I just feel like that's a lot to ask for. They just spent some decent draft capital on him. They're not looking to, wrecking ball the value on him, right out of the gate. Pick here, I think, is David Njoku. We're 2-2-4. Would like to get a decent tight end, but, I do have Cole Komet down there, kind of like I mentioned. Houston, we've got a little bit of a callback, week 17 with Baltimore. Same thing with Muth. Yeah, we'll wait. We'll wait on tight end. We won't go Njoku here. But what do we want to do then? Let's go Rashid Shaheed. I was talking about him a little bit. Does have a week 12 bye, but we'll live with that. Let's see. Pick 100, ADP 103. I can live with that. I was seeing people take Rashid Shaheed in the 5th round of the Scott Fishbowl draft, and I about lost my mind. What? What are you doing? It makes no sense. I don't get it. Absolutely crazy. People love him. I guess they're getting him for the special teams attempt or approach, I guess. I don't know. Njoku and Singletary after my Rashid pick, that felt like it took a while. Do better, drafters. Zach Moss, Romeo Dubes. Let's check into my Dubes. I've got 5% Dubes. I feel like a similar amount for Moss. 3%. Been getting more Chase Brown. Just going after the value. Kind of a similar situation with Dontavian Wicks, who might be a friendly pick for me coming up. Just going with the value. Speak it into existence, and so it shall be. Romeo Dubes followed up immediately by Dontavian Wicks. Pick 105 versus his 115 ADP. Boo that man. Boo. Let's see. Might be time to get another running back. Might be time. 2250. I think we should probably touch tight end and running back in this next couple picks. Going into round 10. Brian Robinson Jr., Khalil Shakir. Sitting on the board, we've got not Raheem Mostert, Dak Prescott, Jaden Daniels, Tajee Spears, Caleb Williams, Brandon Cooks. Ultimate hit button there. Ultimate draft button. Brandon Cooks, 26%. Dallas Goedert, 6%. Javonte Williams, only 3% Javonte. I don't know if he's going to get cut. People are talking about him getting cut from the Broncos. That seems a bit silly. Seems like a bit much. But, maybe he's just not what he was or what we thought he was going to be on the Broncos, and he just stays there. I'm drafting a ton of Jaleel McLaughlin. He's my Broncos wild card running back. I'm not all in on Audrey Estime. Some people have been talking up Samaje Perine still, and I'm like, guys, I get it. Yeah, Samaje Perine. He played third down last year, but That's because he can catch passes and block. Yeah, I get it. You want Javonte Williams blocking last year? No. Jalil McLaughlin with his size? No. Jalil McLaughlin's not a third down back. I mean, he's got no size. I mean, they're going to come off the edge and he's going to get plowed, and the only value he is to you on third down is for, 3rd and 19. A little dump off pass to the running back. That's about it. 3rd and short, he's no use to you whatsoever. So, but I don't believe that Jalil McLaughlin has to play third down, with a ton of volume to be a very good use to us at his ADP this year in best ball. And that's that. Tajay Spears, where did he go? Pick 114 at ADP 107. I like that. That's some good value. I'm coming up here. Dak Prescott's going to fall in this draft, and it's pissing me off. It's making me upset. Someone's getting some crazy value on him. I am not going to draft Dak Prescott. I'm going to draft Blake Corum because I haven't drafted any Blake Corum, and I never get him. I've drafted 14% Gus Edwards. 1% Zeke Elliott is 1% more than I should have. 7% Chase Brown. 20% Jerome Ford in this range. And look at this. Nick Chubb and Jerome Ford are now back to back. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I'm probably going to take one of them. Probably going to get one of them right here. We'll see. Don't see any tight ends that I love here other than Dalton Schultz. And I feel like I can do better still. Still feel like I can do better. I like that callback to Lamar Jackson week 17, but in that game, I don't know. End of the year, is Dalton Schultz going to be the guy that's going off for him? Seems like the guy that might be getting an injury a couple weeks before because he sobbed. I like Dalton Schultz. I liked him a lot last year. He was a much easier late round pick last year, though. Getting paid the same salary as a kicker. That'll help. Good on him for getting the extension, getting a new contract. He needed that contract. Needed it. Do I just take Nick Chubb here because I have Jerome Ford already? I won't do it. I told you not to take him as your fourth, and I won't take him as my fourth. I won't do it. I think maybe we get a little unique here and go Adonai Mitchell. I only have 1% of him, and I don't really have a compelling argument not to take him. I do like Michael Pittman a lot. So this is just a pick based off of, hey, I need more. I got to level up on this guy. And that's going to be the case for many players, for all of us going forward. You just want to be mindful of it. Get some tools in your hand that are going to help you, identify those players, whether you can go out and find them, like what I'm using on bestballoverlay.com, or, you just put your head, to the grindstone and you do it yourself. You're just constantly keeping updates and, keeping that information in front of you, while you're making those decisions. I think that's important. But I do feel like using some of these tools that are available. I mean, there's other sites other than Best Ball Overlay as well, but that's a very good example of one. But those tools and those options, once you use them a few times, like you get a much better feel of like, oh, hey, I've been drafting this guy a lot. Oh, I can ease off of him. Oh, I haven't been drafting this guy enough. I need to, bring him up a little bit. You need to juice up those exposures a little bit more. And then, you're not exclusively drafting on your PC, because that's, the big downfall or pitfall. People tell me, oh, I got to draft on my PC. I don't want to do that. Oh, I want to draft on my phone. I'm like, yeah, I understand that and absolutely sympathize. I'm the same way. But like a handful of drafts, doing it on the PC with an overlay, you're going to have a much better understanding of, where you've been and where you need to go with your best ball exposures. Up in 10 picks, Jerome Ford and Nick Chubb absolutely sitting around. Stop it. Stop making them sit. With Austin Eckler, look at this. I've drafted a ton of Jerome Ford and Austin Eckler. 47% between the two of them. Either one of them have been on half of my rosters. That I'm good with, because those two are absolute smash picks this season. Don't care what anyone says. Jerome Ford will have a reliable role all year. Don't care what anyone says. Eckler's going to have a reliable role as long as he's healthy. As long as he's healthy. That goes for both of them. But Eckler came to the Commanders on condition of usage. Like, he was talking about that at the Super Bowl, interviewing with Matthew Berry and the NBC fantasy team, talking about, hey, what happened to throwing me the ball in San Diego? Hey, Kellen Moore, what's up, man? I don't know if you know this. I catch the ball. Pretty good at it. They stopped doing it. How he was going to be used was one of the biggest factors on where he went. And when you went like the Commanders, like what? Instantly, I knew someone in that room with him, whether it was telling his agent, telling Eckler, they said, listen, man, you're going to have a role here. We're going to use you to your strengths. I mean, watch 5 minutes of the GM Hard Knock season. Tell yourself you're a GM. Listen to what I just said and tell me you don't believe me. Try it. Just try it. Jerome Ford or Nick Chubb are going to fall to me, and it's absolutely ridiculous. Huckleberry's got to take one of them. Huckleberry's got to take at least one. Kirk Cousins goes, wow. If I had taken running back last pick, I could have taken Nick Chubb here. It's the law. It's the law. I'm going to take more Marshawn Lloyd. I'm going to take more Marshawn Lloyd and pray that somehow Nick Chubb falls so I can play by my own rules and take him as RB5. I do like Marshawn Lloyd a lot. I do like him a lot as well. Let's see. Three running backs. Yeah, I don't think he can make it to me. I don't think it's possible. Not with all. Yeah, there he goes. One pick after. Not with all these guys so naked at the running back position. I am 2-4-6-0. 2-4-6-0. I'm coming up on Hawkinson and Musgrave territory. Hunter Henry is the next tight end after that. I could dig back into Cincinnati, get another stack with Burton, Higgins, and Burrow, but I don't want to do that. I want to save that for late round tight end for Gesicki. So I'm thinking like Luke Musgrave, Gesicki maybe. I could be okay with that. I mean, there goes Luke Musgrave. Said it. He gone. Let's see. I do like Jaleel McLaughlin here. There's no ADP confliction. I have a lot of Jaleel McLaughlin. 23%. Kamani Vidal. I like that pick here as well. I'm not taking TJ Hawkinson, so I'm not taking Pearsall. I'm not taking Leggett. I'm not taking Herbert, Stafford. Keandre Miller. I haven't taken a lot of Keandre Miller. Only 2%. Taking a lot more Alvin Kamara. I have a Scott Fishbowl pick, I believe, up. Or maybe I'm on deck. That guy takes Herbert. So let's see. No Pearsall, no Miller. I'm going to pass on Miller. Hawkinson, Stafford, no. Burton, no. McLaughlin's the next guy. Kamani Vidal's the guy for me after that. I want to buy more Jaleel. Can't stop me. We going. Show goes on. More Jaleel McLaughlin. 23%. Now, call it 24. On a team with Saquon Barkley and Bijan, like I'm good with that. And I'm done at running back too. I'm 2-5-6. So maybe 2-5-6-8-3. Do that. 2, 5, 7. Yeah. 2-5-8-3. I think that's the ticket. Means we are shopping for tight ends and receivers. Let's see. What receivers would we like? It's a pretty bland group. It's about as vanilla as it gets. Metcalf, Higgins, McConkey, Johnson, Shaheed, Mitchell. I assure you, I've drafted many elite receiver builds. Got to do some different stuff here. Got to do some different stuff as we're getting up on draft 91. This would not be my most suggested method of drafting. Typically, I'm not double tapping running back to lead off the draft. Not a normal approach. All right, up in 9 picks, receiver. We could get a Burton fall, a Johnston fall, a Thielen fall. Wan'Dale Robinson, Demarcus Robinson, Rashad Bateman. Rashad Bateman would be the pick. Rashad Bateman, Roman Wilson. I like those. Where's Roman Wilson? We got a little correlation there for week 16. I'm down with that. I'm hip with it. Noah Fant does not interest me. Wow, we are going to lead off. We're going to have Jonnu Smith, Mike Gesicki. Those are going to be our tight ends. And Juwan Johnson. Wow, it's going to be so bad. Don't judge me. Roman Wilson. Let's go, Pats. Let's go. Bringing him back up the board. Pick 158 to his ADP 173, and he's falling over the last week. This guy fucks. All right. Pat knows what he's doing here. All right. Where are you at? Yeah, Pat. It doesn't say the name. Pat's 97 something, 972. Yeah, this guy gets it. Someone just took Zach Ertz on 21 SFB. Let's see what I'm going to do. Draft. It never ends. Except for the NFL season starts. Might be taking Devontae Walker in that one too. We'll see. Up in 3 picks. Burton Johnston, like I said, they could fall. They're falling. I don't need them because I already have McConkey and Burton, but just interesting that they're falling. I wouldn't tap them if they went to 165, but again, just interesting. Aaron Rodgers also falling in this one, also falling in value. Let's see. DeMarcus Robinson, Gibson, Baker, Rashad Bateman is the pick. Okie doke. Pick 165, ADP 170. Feel better about it. Feel better about that than the Roman Wilson ADP. I mean, I love Roman Wilson, but head of ADP, brother. What are we doing? Brother? I mean, don't get me wrong. Receivers right now are pretty thirsty. There's not a lot left. I'm up in 4 picks. I think that I'm tapping, let's see, probably tight end. Let's see. I've got likely Jonnu, Conklin. You just take Conklin. Talking about it religiously. Yeah, maybe Conklin and then Jonnu, Gesicki. I can't imagine someone takes Gesicki from me. He's all the way down here. Did he go? Did someone take him? Because I just scrolled a little bit and I didn't see him. He didn't go. I'll just take him. He's already the week 12 guy. If I don't take him, I'm going to get a week 12 guy in Conklin, and that's going to be dog poo. Let's just do something weird. Let's just break the board. We did it with Bijan earlier. People lost their minds. Maybe it'll happen with Gesicki going way too ahead of ADP. Yeah. Pick 172. ADP 209. I did it. You may cast your shame, and I will accept it willingly, as that gentleman should for the Roman Wilson shame. It's early. To be fair, let's see if he had him stacked. That's the only fair way to judge it. Where is that pick? You saw it. Roman Wilson, where are you? There he is, Pats. Let's see. Is he stacked? He is not. He is not stacked. No bueno. Let's see. Baker Mayfield. Luke McCaffrey, Baker Mayfield, Troy Franklin, Malachi Corley, Geno Smith. Tight end and running back. That's what's left here at the end of the draft. Tight end and running back. Very interesting. Man, the next receivers are Marvin Mims Jr. at 181 and Jalen McMillan at 190. Just completely dominated. There goes Marvin Mims. Guys are just sucking all of the receivers out in this draft. There was a solid run in round 1, 5 through 10. Let's see, 17 through 20. I'm trying to look for don't see another huge run really. Just super consistent. Not letting them get very far. Let's see. I'm up in 8 picks. We need a tight end, so good thing they're all here. They're all available. Just get likely, just because we only have 1%. He somehow does stuff every year. 86 points, 73 points. It's typically at the end of the year. 8 touchdowns his last 2 seasons. Not bad. Because I have a lot of Otten. I have a lot of Smith. Maybe I just get unique with another third option. Juwan Johnson is an easy click in the last round for me. Don't hate that. Could go with Jelani Woods. Little connection there with my Adonai Mitchell pick. Colby Parkinson, 2%. Not opposed to bumping that up a little bit. Not Dawson Knox. I have 1% as a just cause. Jatavian Sanders. I mean, I guess people are just forgetting about him. He's free back there. I have 18% of him though. Do I want more of him in this draft? I guess if I absolutely need it. If I'm absolutely that desperate, then I'll be fine. I'll be good. 1 pick away. Dobbins, Likely, Smith, Herbert, Chig. A lot of these guys for me. A lot of Chig, a lot of Herbert, a lot of Smith. Not a lot of Likely, not a lot of Dobbins. 5% Dobbins is okay. I'm good with that. Let's go Likely. Only got the 1%. There's a little note about him I was trying to pull it. Didn't see his little note. Impresses throughout OTAs. Well, no duh. Maybe they just decided to put both of them out there. I don't know. That'd be nuts. That would be nuts. We have Bacon, so we don't... Bateman, we don't need to tap Walker. Do we go Malik Washington? Maybe OBJ just never plays. Maybe that's the case. Maybe we'll go Josh Reynolds with our last pick. We'll go tight end here. May have to be Sanders, though, just because, he's the guy that I do have the most faith in, and I'm pretty bad here. Gesicki unlikely. It's not the best choices, I'll tell you that. So I think I am going to go Sanders here just because that's where my most conviction is Jatavian Sanders. And I do have a nice little callback to the Deontay Johnson pick, which I've done a lot of already. But just another reason to be all right with it. Yeah, tight ends ahead of ADP here. Tight ends ahead of ADP for me. Yeah, the receivers are not amazing, boys. They're not amazing. Metcalf, Higgins, McConkey, Johnson, Shaheed, Mitchell, Bateman. Eugh. And I think we're going Josh Reynolds. Yike carambas. But hey, how about them running backs? Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley, Ken Blake Corum, B, the second coming of Kyren Williams behind Kyren Williams. I wonder if that offense could be like Detroit, where you see Kyren get some David Montgomery type of production. Maybe Corum get some Gibbs level type of production. I could be in with that. Both were still very serviceable. I mean, not so much for Gibbs early on in the season, but down the stretch, both were still good starts. Tutu Atwell. Okay. He's being drafted. Don't see him drafted a whole time. Don't see that often. Does this guy have some sticks, some stickety sticks? He does have Stafford. Stroud, Love, Stafford. Not necessary. I mean, yeah, you were good. You were good with Stroud and Love. Love's about to get $50 million a year. Not a bad quarterback. Not a bad position to be in. They don't pay bad players $50 million a year. You were good with those two QBs. I don't like adding the third. Just like I'm not going to add Bryce Young here. There's no point. Some late round exposure, 10% Bryce, 1% CEH. No, Audric Estime. 19% Damian Pierce. Little birdie told me today that might work out for me. Darius Slayton, Devontae Walker, 8%, 11%, 0% Bo Nix. Some Bo Nix. Should we get some Bo Nix? I'm not doing it, but Razzle Dazzle's doing it. Man, Razzle Dazzle's getting after it. Goff, Carr, Bo Nix. It's not the lineup you would put Bo Nix into with quarterback. It's not the one. All right, last pick here. Receiver. 8% Slayton, 11% Walker. We already said it was going to be Josh Reynolds, didn't we? There's Josh Reynolds. Do we have a week 14 issue though at receiver? I don't think so. Oh, the last three guys are week 14. That's fine. We can live with that. 2-year, $14 million. 14 reasons. Follow the money. Just got to imagine a guy making that type of money is getting some snaps. So will Marvin Mims. So will Cortland Sutton. But I'll take some spike weeks out of Josh Reynolds. 2-5-8-3. Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, double elite QB. Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley, double elite running back. Blake Corum, Marshawn Lloyd, Jaleel McLaughlin. Decent values there. I mean, like a lot of McLaughlin, but got some Blake Corum. Haven't been able to get any of him yet, so feel good about that. Metcalf, Higgins, of course, they take it away. Catching me monologuing. Metcalf, Higgins, McConkey, only 2% McConkey. Feel good about leveling up on him. Deontay Johnson, got to go with your cornerstone picks for sure still. Rashid Shaheed, 3%. Adonai Mitchell, 1%. Rashad Bateman, 9%, 0%. Josh Reynolds. And then, tight end took some big swings here with Gesicki, Likely, and Jatavian Sanders. Obviously, a lot of Jatavian, not so much Gesicki and Likely. So, getting a little bit more unique. And again, having those type of tools at your exposure, having your best ball exposure available to you, on the go, that's going to be very helpful to you. But as you use those tools more and more, like I said, that's just going to roll over into your noggin and you're going to be able to do it over your phone. It's not going to be a huge issue for you. So, again, thank you for riding with us, watching the video, following the channel. Be sure to smash the like button. Follow the Fantasy Six Pack Network. We'll be back actually at a similar time next week. So hope you guys enjoyed. Take care. Be well. Be good. But if you can't be good at it. We'll see you.